Welcome to yet another episode of Sacred Reviews. Well, I find today's subject to be rather difficult to review, not because it's a horrible piece of schlock, like many of the movies I've reviewed so far, but because it's a brilliant example of storytelling by combining visuals and dialogue. In other words, today's review is going to be about the short visual novel developed by Freebird Games, simply known as To the Moon. The biggest problem with reviewing To the Moon is in describing the plot, to be honest. In short, this game manages to invoke feelings of joy, despair, inspiration, bitterness, regret, and humor throughout, but to explain why or how it manages to do these things would give too much away, especially considering this game's relative short run time of under 5 hours. Though to summarize the basics of the game follows two doctors working for Sigmund Corporation, a company that has technology that can override a person's memories in order to fulfill their deepest desires. Of course, to make the use of this technology ethical is only performed on people on their deathbed, since we are basically dealing with the rewriting and removal of a person's entire life after all. The game itself follows the Doctor's travels through the mind of Johnny in order to implant his desire to go to the moon on his earliest memories, in order to shift his later memories into believing that he had fulfilled that desire. Of course, the real story is a character study on Johnny himself and why he desires to go to the moon in the first place. What drives this man who wishes to alter his own past, even if it is a lie? Of course, to protect the story from becoming too bogged down in drama, the game breaks things up with humor, which is largely comprised of references to all kinds of material from various genres. There are references to books, old TV shows on both sides of the pond, manga, and many more. I guess in short, this game rewards you a bit for your nerdiness, albeit many of the references are things that have invaded pop culture at large. Game-wise, there's little to talk about. The game is largely comprised of moving through Johnny's memories in order to find mental links between the memory you're currently in and memories further back in Johnny's past. As such, you'll spend most of your time moving through areas and clicking on objects. Albeit the game may make this a bit too easy, since you'll usually only be able to click on or interact with objects that will provide you with the mental links needed to progress. Outside of exploration, you also have a handful of puzzles to solve in order to prepare a link between memories in order to jump further back into Johnny's past. But these puzzles are rather easy for the most part. This is especially true once you realize the secret to solving them is to start with the diagonal if you have zero obvious moves on either the X or Y axis. So that's pretty much all there is to this game. There are a few other interactive events that you'll experience, but they mostly fall along the same lines of being simple and straightforward. As I said previously, the game is a visual novel, so the gameplay takes a backseat to the narrative, so what low gameplay elements there are feel a bit more like padding than anything else, to add a little bit of room between memories. On the sound graphics side of things, the game is strong. While the game may use rather simplistic pixel art in order to tell its story for the most part, it uses them effectively, and it's hard to mock the game for using them considering how effectively the story is told. On the musical side of things, many of the tracks are enjoyable or true to the mood in order to enhance the story. My only real complaint about the music is that one of the tracks may feel a bit overused in the grand scheme of things, but this is easy to overlook considering its importance to the narrative as a whole. In conclusion, To the Moon is a very enjoyable little title that manages to tell a rather moving and interesting story over the course of around 5 hours, and it's easily worth checking out if you're looking for a game built around its narrative rather than its gameplay.